What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about how a guy tries to break down your walls, the steps he takes to get back in when you're performing no contact, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw a little wall here, okay? We're going to say no contact wall. And then here you are over here, okay? And here he is, okay? So a little preface with this. The first thing I want to say is, when should you do no contact? Women ask me this all the time. I kind of want to set this as the foundation. When's the right time to do it? In my opinion, it's the last thing you do after you've tried pretty much everything else. And that will probably include giving him a couple chances, voicing your concerns, giving him the chance to change it, and he's not changing it, right? Something along those lines, or the fact that you're trying to address something that bothers you, such as the inconsistency, him saying he's going to do one thing and doesn't do it. Maybe you have brought up a situation before and he said, I'm going to change, don't worry, I got you, but he doesn't do it, so you bring it up again, right? When you start to feel disrespected and you bring up the situation and it doesn't change, that is when you need to do no contact, okay? Now, with that being said, here's what he's going to try to do. So the first thing he's going to do, I always tell women this, I call it the evidence. He's going to look at what you two have as a whole, okay? Boom, boom. What you two has as a whole, and what benefits him and what doesn't. So what do I mean by that? If you guys have been talking for 3 months, okay, he's going to look back at those 3 months and look at how much power he has overall. And that will include things like you giving him more chances than he deserves. So it goes back to kind of what I said. You could do it a couple times, but if you're doing it fucking 5, 10 times, you guys have been talking for a long time and you're on and off. You have been talking for 3, 4, 5, 6 months and you're sitting around hoping that things are going to change and they haven't changed. You hooking up with him making every mistake. That by itself is wrong. It's just the context. Him making every mistake in the book and he still has access to you. You being hopeful. Every time he pulls away and comes back, you let him back in, right? These are all things for him. These are all good things for him. These are X's on your points, on your end. Now, here's what I tell women. When you're first doing no contact, your first goal is to change his mind on this. And that's going to be very hard to do, because if we go back to this, and let's say you guys were talking for 6 months, right? But you're 1 month into no contact, like that, no, that doesn't work out, right? That does not work out. You cannot erase 6 months of all these good things that gave him the benefit, right? You cannot erase these with being like 1 month no contact when you've been talking for 6 months. That's why there's a method to my madness. Ladies, when you're talking to a guy, you're not supposed to give him a million chances. You're not supposed to give him chances he has not earned. At 8 weeks, what do I say, ladies? At 8 weeks, if 8 weeks equals fucking girlfriend, okay? If you are not this, out. Start this shit. Maybe not no contact, but pull away, call it out, have the talk, right? And there's a reason for it. I'm setting you up for this stuff. So when you do no contact, it's better, because you're not going to have to wait 4, 5, 6, 7 months to try to change a guy's mind, because he's basically calling your bluff. Okay? That's why this works. So the first thing you have to do, going back all the way to what I said, is you have to change his mind. And the way you do that is by keeping this wall up, following through, so this becomes 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and it starts adding up, and then these things slowly erase. These things, I guess these become X's, and these start to become like that for you, right? Like whatever. And the reason for that is because he's like, the reason these work out is he might see them as benefits, but if he's not getting what he wants from them, how are they benefits? Okay, yeah, you gave him a million chances, but you've been doing this for a while and you're not caving, right? The evidence doesn't look as pure anymore, doesn't look as clear. Or, you slept with him and you let him come back and he made every mistake and he still had access to you. But again, you're not doing that anymore. You're holding your ground. You're making it look clear that, hey, I'm actually done, dude. So, draw me a sad guy here, right? So that's the first thing you have to do, because the first thing he's going to do, I guess we can call this number one, is he's going to call your bluff. That's the first thing, okay? The second thing he's going to do is breadcrumb. Okay? And this is stuff like text, like short text. I will put short. Like short text. I miss you. Hey, how are you? Oh, I got a question. Like that. How have you been? Shit like that. Another thing is likes and views on social media. That's another thing he's going to try. Okay, he's going to do little things like that, because all he wants to do is start this back over to zero. He wants evidence, because his mindset is, I win, right? I have you. And these things are based on evidence. He wants clues, right? He wants clues that this is still the case. So he's going to send little things like that. Okay, but because if you're actually done with him, you're not going to give that to him. So he's checking. If this doesn't work, the next thing the guy does, we'll put it over here, I guess. Right? The next thing the guy does is what I call negotiate. This is where the guy comes back around and says, I miss you, I this, I that, I'm sorry, can we talk? Listen, it's not you, it's this, I just been in a really hard place, I need you right now, whatever the fuck he says to get you to come back around. Because again, he's trying to just chip away at this. He's trying to chip away at this and get evidence, okay? Now, if he starts doing this, and he's doing it enough, meaning like constant texting, omitting fault, things like this. Like, I do think that is a green flag. Let me draw a green right here. I do think that is a green, not flag, but that is a green light for you to voice something, right? Let's put voice down here. To voice something. Like, hey, what do you want? We're obviously on the same page. You know what I want. You're a great guy. We just don't want the same thing. And I feel like continuing or talking, being friends or anything is just a waste of time. It's not what I'm looking for. And then this is where the negotiation happens. Never cave. Never break your wall down unless he agrees to three things. A relationship. Okay? Meaning we're not seeing where this goes. We're not seeing how this unfolds. We're not giving him time to work things. No. You're coming back. I want a relationship. You're not ready? Okay, cool. Then leave me alone, please. That's the first thing he has to agree to. The second thing he has to agree to is fault. Okay? Is he aware that he's pulling some bullshit? Is he aware that this isn't fair to you? Is he aware of the fact that, how do I know you've changed? You haven't, it's been a month, it's been 2 months, it's been 3 months. How do I know you changed? You seem so adamant about not wanting a relationship, and now that I'm gone, like, I know I didn't spark some interest. I know your attraction for me hasn't grown. I haven't done anything. How do I know you haven't changed? How do I know you haven't changed, right? That's the other, actually, I wouldn't even say it's three things. Those two things are the most important. If you can get a guy to agree to a relationship, a guy to agree to fault, I guess, and agree to, I guess you could put change, right? Like, meaning, you're negotiating, he's agreeing to all these things. He's admitting fault. He's coming back around, and he knows what your standards are. It's like, hey, we could do this, but we're a relationship, and a relationship means X, Y, Z. We're exclusive. We're not talking to anyone else. We are a title. We this, we that. Consistency. I want to see and talk to you. I want you to open up. I don't want you to be this. I don't want you to be like whatever. You got to really challenge the guy, because he's not allowed just back in. I always tell women. Let me write with another color here. I always tell women. Let's write it with an orange. Can you see over here? Yes, you can. Consequences, right? There has to be, your job is to be the fucking judge. Is to be the law of the land. This is your job. Your job is to put down the damn hammer when something is up. If a guy is making a mistake, there is no other person in this circle other than you who could correct him. Not that it's your job to babysit, but a guy has to know, if I'm messing up, okay? If I'm messing up, like, well, actually, he wouldn't even know he's messing up if you don't correct it. If he's coming and going, right? If he's going back and forth and stuff like that, and you're letting it happen because you're walking on eggshells, you're fearful that he's going to pull away. Well, then he's just gonna keep on doing it, right? He's just gonna keep on going back and forth. He don't give a shit. Your job as a woman, a high value woman, is to, I always say, right? Without structure equals chaos. That's not how you spell chaos. There it is. I always say without structure, there's chaos. It's your job to uphold this structure. That's how it is, right? It's your job to uphold this structure. And the way you do that is consequences. If you go, okay, you can go, but you ain't coming back in like you wall up. You ain't coming in like you think you are. And again, if that's the case, he's going to look for evidence that, okay, you're not about this really. So he's going to try to call your bluff. Then he's going to breadcrumb you if that doesn't work. Then he's going to try to negotiate shit if he really wants back in. And then that's where you can renegotiate here. I know I'm all over the place now, but that's where you can renegotiate and say, hey, cool, bro, but listen, you're a great guy, but we just on different pages. I want a relationship. You know you're wrong, right? You don't got to say it like that, but he has to know he's wrong, and then he has to agree to changes. Ladies, if you want a full plan on how to do this, you can just get a session with me. We can talk about your situation, your guy, and if this would even work, and go about it. Link is down below. Or if you want to get my guide on no contact, and I have 7 other guides on topics with men and stuff like that, like how much they actually like you, how to go about dating. I have one for dating profiles, one for building attraction, one for finding a, I have them all, okay? Links down below. Ladies, I love you all. Take care and peace.